It's all been leading up to this. I'm ready. This is it. The moment you've all been waiting for. I'm finally gonna go viral. Of course, I have no idea what that means or how to do it, so I've contacted a virality consultant, yes, that's a real thing, to show me what to do. And if my calculations are correct, my appointment is right now, actually. I should probably go. Oh wait, I'm still on house arrest. Hello? Yeah, you're gonna have to come here. Did you bring lunch?
Can we just get this thing done? Why do you know overtime?
Fine. If I pass out from hunger, it's your fault.
Hi, Caleb Webb. I'm your virality consultant. What seems to be the issue?
Hi, Droopy Tersen. Soon to be viral, sooner to learn what that means.
Okay, let me just pull up your file real quick. Okay, let me get this straight. You call this about getting help with going viral without even knowing what going viral is?
That is correct, yes.
Oh boy, okay, here, let me break this down for you. Basically, going viral is when something gets a whole bunch of attention.
Oh wait, I actually know this one!
Excuse me?
No, don't worry about it, I'll take it from here.
What?
Video games, am I right? Such a powerful form of entertainment. Video games have provided people with some of the greatest stories and experiences of all time. Games are as legit a storytelling medium as anything else, and they get so much care put into them to make sure that even if they only reach one person, it has a chance to change their life. And then there are the games that barely even try and are still somehow played by everyone on the damn planet. Viral games are actually pretty interesting when you think about it. I mean, out of nowhere, a game will show up and completely take the world by storm. The thing is, it doesn't really feel like any other form of media goes viral the same way video games do. When a game goes viral, everyone kind of drops everything to pay attention to it. Even the people you wouldn't really expect to care about really video games in general might try it out, and if not, they'll at least know of it. You see that game everywhere. So much merchandise is made, so much coverage from all over the internet, it kind of becomes the thing to talk about, whether you have good or bad things to say about it. But nothing else really gets that. Books? Absolutely fucking not. Music? You have some songs that get really popular and then they get overplayed and everyone gets sick of it almost immediately. Movies can be popular and attract huge audiences, but that massive popularity doesn't really stick around for long. And there are like viral internet videos that also get a lot of views, but they're usually pretty short and don't have enough content to be milked for months on end. TV shows are probably the things that come closest to going viral in the same way that video games do. Considering shows run for a long time and have a bunch of episodes to sit through, then people have a lot more to talk about. And there are some shows that, much like video games, get watched by people that normally wouldn't try them, and the only reason they try them in the first place is because everyone else is talking about it. But even still, it doesn't happen all that often. It feels like video games go viral more frequently and stick around longer than anything else, which ends up making it seem like everyone plays the new viral game for so damn long and you just wish people would move on to the next thing because you're sick of seeing the same thing everywhere.
Okay, I'm impressed. For someone who claimed they knew nothing about what going viral is, you sure have a pretty good handle on what it is. Sure makes my job a whole lot easier.
Yeah, sure. Also, it's saved to the back of your computer.
Huh. Well, either way, now that you understand what going viral means, I can start helping you figure out how to go viral. Take a look at these bullet points. I put a little presentation to help you out.
Oh, I got the perfect example! Stay here, I'll be right back!
Now, you could make the argument that games only started going viral within the last 10-15 years or so when people really started to understand how to use the internet. I mean, according to this random slideshow I found, the internet plays a big part in helping things go viral.
Yeah, I know. It's my slideshow.
And sure, viral really only started to be used as a synonym for popular when the internet became more mainstream, but there were definitely games before then that could very well be considered viral. Games even the general non-video game playing people had heard of, like Pac-Man and Donkey Kong, which were some of the most popular games of the 80s and created some of the most well-known characters in all of gaming. Or the games people would buy entire consoles for. People bought an NES for Super Mario Bros., bought a Game Boy for Tetris, bought an Xbox for Halo, bought a Wii for Wii Sports. These were the games that caught everyone's attention, the games you had to play, and if that isn't going viral, I don't know what is.
I thought the whole point of you hiring me was that you didn't know what going viral was.
Are you saying I'm wrong?
Well, no,
yeah, that's
I mean,
what I thought.
And I'd even make the argument that games that got a bunch of bad press could be considered viral. Mortal Kombat, Grand Theft Auto, Call of Duty, you know, the games that people bring up when they want to claim video games are corrupting the youth. It kind of brings up that old saying, any publicity is good publicity. Even if most of the attention these games were getting was negative, it was still attention, which put more eyes on these games, which would make them more popular. More people are playing them, and even more people know of them. In other words, viral.
Yes, well, you clearly have a good grasp on this, so maybe I don't even need to be here.
Well, hang on, because we're not done yet, because we haven't talked about what happens after you throw the internet into the mix.
Come on.
With the inception of the internet, suddenly it became way easier to talk to people anywhere about anything, and soon the internet as a collective started agreeing about what things are good or bad. And whether or not that's a good or bad thing is up to you.
It's a bad thing. You see, you are learning!
But there's nothing we can do about it now, so we might as well just accept it. So let's look at some games that went viral and see what they have in common. I think Minecraft might be one of the most viralable games out there. I mean, if you sit down with it for 5 minutes, it makes so much sense. You art blocks, you play with blocks, and whatever comes next is pretty much entirely up to you. And naturally, with such an open-ended nature, a huge online community is gonna form. Everyone can have something unique to do or say about the game, and it's all completely valid. The game was kind of destined to go viral, just through the sense of community the game provides alone. So now imagine Minecraft, except there's guns, and it's also nothing like Minecraft, and you've got yourself a son of a bitch. Fortnite is another game that is not surprising it went viral at all. I mean, it was one of the pioneers of the 100-player battle royale genre. Plus, it had the unique mechanic of being able to build structures to help you with defense or offense. And the folks at Epic Games actually got pretty smart and started dropping little bits of lore and making huge in-game events. Say what you want about the game, but you've got to at least respect the dev team for practically ensuring the game would be played and talked about for as long as possible. The only problem is that now, I mean, what the f*** even is this game anymore? Every time I sneeze, something about it gets completely overhauled, and there's so many damn brand deals too. At this point, it's the only thing keeping the game relevant because they keep adding more and more absurd characters. Fortnite is now easily the biggest crossover in all of media, and I don't really know how to feel about it. And the constant changes were a reason to keep coming back to the game back when it was huge, but eventually that excitement wears off, and now it makes it really hard to get back into or stay invested in.
Pretty cool, right? You starting to see how this works?
I think you might be the most frustrating human being I've ever had the misfortune of having a conversation with.
Right, Sam. Anyways.
You guys remember Five Nights at Freddy's? Of course you do, everyone loved it. It was everywhere with a steady stream of new entries. There was even that new game that came out last year and it was... I actually don't really have that much of a history with this series, as in, I don't have a history with it at all. But I do know it's a series of horror games founded on the idea of looking left, right, then left again, then die. It's a simple series with simple gameplay, which is probably why the first game went viral. Now, later games in the franchise would go on to add a bunch of hidden lore that fans of the series loved to speculate and theorize about for hours on end, but I don't think that's why the series got its initial spike in popularity. It's probably just because it's a simple game and people like a good scare every once in a while, and they especially like experiencing that scare with other people. Which would also explain why a bunch of other indie horror games went viral too. You know, Amnesia, Outlast, Phasmophobia, Bendy and the Ink Machine, Poppy Playtime. None of these games ever quite reached the popularity of FNAF, but each definitely got their own time in the spotlight. Again, sometimes people just like a good horror game. But you know what people like better than getting scared themselves?
Quitting their job and living the rest of their life as a hermit so they never have to talk to anyone else ever again.
Watching other people get scared. Watching other people play games can be just as helpful to a game going viral as people just playing it themselves. When the big-name streamers or YouTubers begin milking a game or series dry, that can contribute a lot to its success. It brings the game to people's attention and also creates a sense of community for it by letting people connect with other people who like it.
And another thing, wait, are you even paying attention?
No, I'm telling my wife about how much of a horrible client you are.
Ha! That's a good one. You're not married. Ooh, that reminds me.
And the one other big factor that helps a game go viral is its reach, the platforms it's on. This is what made a lot of mobile games so popular, because with the introduction of smartphones, a good chunk of humanity had access to a lot of simple pick up and play games. And on top of that, there were just a lot of ideas for mobile games that worked incredibly well, like Pokemon Go. Such an obvious idea. What if you could see and catch Pokemon in the real world? and everyone thought it was such a good idea that they downloaded the game only a couple 100 million times. And that's not all, because almost every game I mentioned today has or had a mobile version, which is another very big piece of why they did so well. If Fortnite or Minecraft or Among Us weren't available on mobile devices, I doubt they would have done as well as they did, which leaves the games that don't release on mobile a bit worse off. For example, I think if Fall Guys launched on everything at the same time and had a mobile version and started out free to play, I think it could have blown up way bigger and stayed relevant a lot longer than it did. Because it definitely saw a bit of a resurgence when it did go free to play and release on all consoles, but unfortunately it's never gonna reach the same popularity games like Fortnite and Among Us saw. Similarly, Multiverses, which is probably the biggest game right now, has a lot going for it. It's free, it's on a wide enough range of platforms, it's easy to understand, and it's got an appealing premise. However, it does have quite a few things going against it too. It's definitely not the quickest game to pick up. While platform fighters are generally pretty easy to understand, they can take a little bit to get used to if you're new to the genre. Also, it's definitely not as accessible as some other more viral games, which is somewhat understandable. A platform fighter on mobile sounds like hell. Although the lack of a Switch release is a little strange. And to top it all off, the premise of a platform fighter with a bunch of different Warner Bros. IPs is definitely an interesting one, but it's more interesting in the sense that you hear it and go, that's kind of funny, and then the shock wears off. And it definitely feels like other people are having that shock wear off. The game's practically lost all its popularity, and it's only been a couple months since it came out.
So, that's the lesson. What did we learn? I'll sum it up for you.
No, I'll sum it because it's my job. There are 5 main things you need to make sure you have for a game to go viral. Number 1, your game needs to be understandable. Someone needs to be able to look at the game and immediately understand at least the basic premise of the game. This ensures that you don't scare anyone away and get as many people playing your game as possible. Number 2, the game needs to be simple and in its control. That way people can easily pick up the game and keep playing it without getting frustrated with the controls. Number 3, you need appeal. A simple art style goes a long way to help people understand what's going on in your game and decrease confusion. And releasing your game for free means it's a lot more accessible to a lot of people. Number 4, your game needs to be on as many platforms as possible. Mobile is a big one as it has the biggest install base, and putting your game on console and PC is just as important because people will take it more seriously. Number 5, you need the internet on your side. You need that sense of community to ensure that people can connect around your game and will actually want to keep playing it. There! Are you happy now? I never want to see you again. Now get the hell out of my office.
This is my house. All things considered, I actually think it went pretty well.